Okay, good morning to all of you. I welcome you to Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research. Myself, N. Bharat Kumar, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. In the last few classes, we discussed in detail about the single phase AC circuits. Also, we have analyzed the single phase AC circuits. Now, in today's class, we will discuss about the balanced three-phase systems. So, in this class, we are going to discuss about the three-phase AC supply. So, the name itself indicates that here we are having three phases. In case of single phase supply, how we are going to use single phase supply? By means of a AC voltage source like this, V of T. How many conductors are required for a single phase supply? Two. So, one is a phase wire and another one is the neutral wire. In general, we are going to consider this as plus and minus. Generally, the AC quantities are going to be represented as phase and neutral. DC are going to be represented as plus and minus. So, in case of single phase AC source, there will be two wires. One is called as phase wire, another one is neutral wire. Or we can also consider this one as neutral and this one as phase. But in case of DC, when one terminal is marked as plus, it is always plus. And one terminal is marked as negative, it is always negative. But in AC supply, we can interchange the phase and neutral wires also. AC always changes its magnitude. So periodically, the magnitude as well as polarity is going to be changed in an alternating quantity. So that gives us a flexibility to use the wire as phase and neutral. So we can use a wire as both phase and neutral. Now coming to the three-phase supply. In case of three-phase supply, we require three voltages, three single phase voltages. So first one, second one and third one. So how many wires are required here? One phase and one neutral. In each source, we are going to have one phase wire and one neutral wire. So since there are three phases, we are going to have total 6 conductors. So we require three single phase sources which have 6 conductors. Now how will you represent these three phases? Generally we are going to consider it as R, Y, B. First phase as R phase, second phase as Y phase, third phase as B phase. This R indicates red, yellow, blue. That means we are going to use red wire for R phase, yellow wire for Y phase and blue wire for B phase. So a balanced three-phase systems. A system utilizing more than one winding is called as a polyphase system. When a system contains more than one winding, in case of single phase we are having only one phase. Other than single phase, we are going to have more than one winding. Such type of systems are called as polyphase or multi-phase systems. So in case of three-phase system, a three-phase system has three sinusoidal voltages of equal amplitude and frequency. So we are going to have three sinusoidal voltages of equal amplitude and frequency but differ in phase by 120 degrees from each other. So how you are going to represent a three-phase AC voltage? Three-phase AC voltage will have three sinusoidal quantities, three sinusoidal voltages. And what is the magnitude of these voltages? The three voltages, the magnitude of three voltages is equal. And the frequency of the three voltages is also equal. But the phase difference is 120 degrees between each phase. So the three-phase systems are commonly used in generation and transmission of electrical power. So because the three-phase involves more power rating, the generation, in case of generation, power generation, and in case of power transmission, it is very convenient to use three-phase systems. Next, power in a three-phase system is constant rather than pulsating. When you compare with a single phase supply, three-phase supply is always more constant than pulsating. So when you compare with the single phase motors, three-phase motors will start and run in a smooth manner. So that is the advantage of three-phase system. And we are going for three-phase system when you require more power. When you want to operate large appliances which consists of high power rating, then we are going to have three-phase supply. Watch an AV. Then we will discuss this three-phase system.
Welcome to this animated video that will quickly explain three-phase power. I'll also explain the mystery behind why three power lines are 120 degrees apart, because that's a crucial piece to understanding three-phase power. The power that enters a data center is usually three-phase AC power, which means three-phase alternating current power. In this three-phase example, the north positive end of the magnet is pointing straight up at line 1. To help explain the concept easier, let's use a clock face and say that line 1 is at the 12 o'clock position. The electrons in line 1 are going to be flowing towards the north pole of the magnet. What happens when the magnet now swings 90 degrees? Because the magnet is perpendicular to line 1, the electrons in line 1 will stop moving. Then as the magnet swings more than 90 degrees, the south pole of the magnet comes closer to line 1, and the electrons will reverse, which means the direction of the current will reverse. Looking at the chart, you can see why I picked an analog clock face. A circle is 360 degrees, and the clock divides the circle into 12 sections so that each hour covers 30 degrees of the circle. Going from 12 to 3 is 90 degrees. Going from 12 to 4 is 120 degrees. When generating three-phase power, the copper lines are located 120 degrees apart. So when you're at the 4 o'clock position in our example here, that's 120 degrees away from line 1. And at the 8 o'clock position, it's 120 degrees away from both the 4 and 12 o'clock positions. The three lines are equally spaced around the circle. If the north pole is closer to one of the three wires, then the electrons move in that direction. The closer the south pole gets to each wire, the more the electrons move away from the south pole. In each three of these lines, as the electrons are moving back and forth, they are not always moving in the same direction or speed as the other two lines. Let's look again at the example. As the magnet is spinning, when the north pole is at 1 o'clock, it becomes perpendicular to line 2, so of course the electrons stop moving in line 2. But they are still moving in line 1 attracted by the closer north pole, and they are moving in line 3 repelled by the south pole. When the magnet's north pole faces 2 o'clock, then line 1 and 2 are affected by the north pole, but the south pole is directly opposite line 3, so it's now at peak current. At 3 o'clock, the magnet is perpendicular to line 1, so electrons stop moving, but line 2 is affected by the north pole and line 3 is affected by the south pole, so current is flowing in lines 2 and 3. Hopefully this example shows you how at any time current is always flowing in at least two lines. It also shows the relationship between the three lines as the magnet spins in a circle. As the magnet goes around the clock face, each of the three lines will be affected by either the north or south poles, except when the magnet is perpendicular to a line. Let's focus on line 1. It's at its peak current when the north pole points to both 12 and 6 o'clock positions. It is at 0 current when the north pole points to 3 and 9 o'clock. Only one of the three lines is ever at peak, but because there are three lines, there are 3 peak positives and 3 peak negative positions for every cycle. At 6 different positions on the clock face, one of the lines is at peak. 12 and 6 positions are line 1's alternating peaks. 2 and 8 positions are line 3's alternating peaks. And 4 and 10 are line 2's alternating peaks. Now let's explain those confusing waveforms that are frequently used to depict three-phase. If you look at the waveform example, you can see the first line in blue and it starts at 0, which means the magnet is perpendicular to that line. As the magnet moves, you can see the current go to its peak. Then as the positive pole spins past that wire, the current starts to weaken until the magnet is perpendicular again, which results in 0 current. As the negative pole starts to come closer, the current reverses and moves in the other direction towards another peak before returning to 0 current. This completes one full cycle for that line. In order for the two-dimensional chart to show the relationship between the lines, it now shows a gap that signifies the length of time it takes the magnet to spin 120 degrees.
Now coming to the balanced three-phase systems, the three-phase voltages, the three voltages of the three-phase system can be represented as, first one, the R phase voltage is Vm sin omega t or Vm sin theta. Now how will you represent the second phase voltage, which is nothing but Vy? The phase difference magnitude remains same, frequency remains same, but the phase difference is 120 degrees, so minus 120, or Vm sin theta minus 120. In both these cases, theta is nothing but omega t. What about Vb? Vb is Vm sin omega t minus 240. So there is a phase difference between 120 degrees from each other. So, but if you see here, the magnitude is same here, amplitude is same, and frequency is also same in all the three cases. Only the difference is phase difference. The phase difference between each phase is 120. So let us represent this in graphical way using sinusoidal waveforms. So the first phase will always starts at 0 degrees. Okay. And coming to the Y phase, how you are going to represent Y phase? The magnitude will remain same, frequency will also remain same, the phase difference is minus 120. Minus means it has to start after 0 degrees. So it starts at 120 degrees after 0. So the yellow phase or Y phase will start at 120 degrees. Now after 120, that means after Y phase starts, then the blue phase will start at a phase difference of 240 degrees. So that means this blue phase will have a phase difference of 120 degrees with respect to Y phase as well as with respect to R phase. That's how we are going to represent the three-phase waveforms. Let us try to represent these three voltages in polar notation using phasor diagram. So how will you represent the three voltages in polar form? So first one is the phase difference. It starts at 0 degrees. That's why Vm at an angle of 0 degrees. The Y phase will start at minus 120. So Vm at an angle of minus 120. And B phase starts at minus 240 degrees. So Vm at an angle of minus 240 degrees. By using this polar notation, we can draw the graphical phasor diagram. So Vry is along 0 degrees. So 0 degrees means along x-axis. Now coming to the Y phase. So the Y phase is having a phase difference of 120 degrees with respect to R. And what is the phase angle here? Minus. Minus indicates that the vector is rotating in clockwise direction. So it has to rotate in clockwise direction by 120 degrees. So like this. And coming to the B phase, the B phase has to rotate by another 120 degrees from Y phase. So like this. Now if you observe the phase angle here, the phase difference between each phase is 120 degrees only. So after R, the Y phase will rotate by 120, then the B phase will rotate by 120. Of course, obviously this angle will be 120 degrees. This is how you are going to represent in a phasor diagram the three voltages: R voltage, R phase, Y phase and B phase. Okay. Next, phase sequence. Sequence means order. So how these phases are going to be measured, or how this sequence is going to be considered, let us discuss. The order in which the phase voltages of a three-phase system attains their maximum positive values. So the order in which the phase voltages attain their maximum positive values is called phase sequence. So if you consider here a three-phase system, so starting from 0 degrees, what is the waveform that attains maximum positive value first? So this R phase attains the maximum positive value first. After that, which waveform attains the maximum positive value? The Y phase attains the maximum positive value next. And what about the B phase? It attains after Y phase. So similarly, if you see here, at 0 degrees we are having the R phase. At 120 degrees after 0 we are going to have Y phase. Then at 240 degrees we are going to have B phase. So what is the sequence here? The phase sequence is nothing but R, Y, B. So the phase sequence we are going to call it as here R, Y, B. Now if you consider this diagram, what is the phase sequence here? You can start from any vector. You can start from R, Y, B. You have to rotate in clockwise direction. So R, Y, B is the phase sequence. So here the phase sequence is R, Y, B. Now tell me the phase sequence in this phasor notation. If you move from starting from R in clockwise direction, R, next B, Y. So the phase sequence is R, B, Y. Next, connection. Since there are 3 phases involved here, we require 6 conductors. So when more conductors are involved, more energy is going to be wasted. So for that purpose, we are going to connect the 3-phase winding to reduce the number of conductors so that the energy wastage can be reduced. Representation of 3 single phase voltages. So as I told you, if you consider an R phase requires 2 wires. One is R, another one is R1. So 2 wires are going to be connected to the load. Similarly for Y phase also there are 2 wires, Y and Y1. For B phase, B and B1. So total how many conductors are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in each connection or in each phase there is one phase wire, one neutral wire. Or we can consider R1 as phase and R as neutral also. So total 6 conductors are required for transferring the power. This number of conductors may result in loss in energy or loss in power. That's why we are going to connect the wires in such a way to optimize the power or to optimize the energy. So by means of that we can reduce the loss in energy also. So there are 2 possible connections here. One is called star connection, another one is delta connection. The star connection has other name called Y connection. We can also call the star connection as Y connection. So in case of star connection there is again 2 possibilities. One is nothing but 3-phase 3-wire system. Here the number of connections used is 3 and the number of conductors used is 3. And the second one 3-phase 4-wire system. Here there are 4 conductors. And coming to delta there is only one connection possible, which is called 3-phase 3-wire system. And the number of conductors here is 3. So in the 2 connections, the star connection will have 2 possibilities. We can connect using 3 wires or 4 wires. So star connected system may contain 3 wires or 4 wires. But delta connected system always contains 3 wires only. Let us discuss each connection in detail. First let's move on to the star connected system. So in case of star connected system, so these are the 3 single phase windings. First one is R and R1. Second one is Y, Y1. Third B, B1. So these are the 3 windings. Now how many wires are there? 1, 2, 3, 6 wires are there. So in a star connected system, there are 2 connections possible. One is 3-wire system, second one 4-wire system. How we are going to reduce the number of conductors? For 6 conductors into 3 conductors or 4 conductors. By joining the winding connections here, terminals here. How we are going to join in the case of a star winding? Assume that these terminals, RYB terminals as the starting points. And this R1, Y1, B1 as the ending points of the winding. Let us assume that RYB as the starting points of the winding, R1, Y1, B1 as the ending points of the winding. So to reduce the number of conductors, we are going to join either the starting points or ending points. So if you join the ending points, the resultant connection will be like this. So the ending points R1, Y1, B1 has been joined. Now these 3 wires is going to become into a single wire. And how many wires are left? Only 3 conductors are left, R, Y, B. These 3 conductors are going to be connected to the load. Since we have joined the ending points, we are going to have 3 connections. And these 3 wires are nothing but the phases. If you want to have a neutral wire, this common point we are going to consider it as the neutral point. So when there is no neutral point, we are going to call it as a 3-wire system. When there is a neutral point, we are going to consider it as a 4-wire system. So this is one way of joining the star connection. Another way is you can join the starting points also. When you join the starting points, so when you join the starting points, the connection will look like this. So the starting points are going to be joined. RYB are joined into a single point, and this R1, Y1, B1 are going to be connected to the load. So this is the another type of connection. Okay. Let us see here. In a star connected system, all the ending points or finishing points or the starting points are joined together, and the other ends of the three coils are connected to the load. That's what I told you. You can join either starting points or you can join either the ending points. Then the remaining three wires are going to be connected to the load. You are having R phase, Y phase and B phase. If you join the finishing points like this R1, Y1, B1, which is called as a finishing point, the other three terminals or other three wires which are called as starting points, these starting points can be connected to the load. This is one type of connection. Next, if you consider the three windings and if you join the starting points R, Y, B, then you can connect these ending points to the load. So these are the two possibilities. Now, by means of doing this, how many conductors are going to be there? We are having only 3 conductors. And if you want a neutral wire, you can consider the fourth conductor also. So that neutral, the common connection is going to be called as the neutral point. The common point where all the finishing points or starting points that are joined together is called as neutral point. The common point is called as the neutral point, or you can also call it as star point. So let us see how we are going to represent the star connection. We will consider a R phase like this, and after 100 degrees we are going to consider the Y phase, and after 100 degrees we are going to consider the blue phase, B phase. From this diagram you can usually identify that the phase difference between each phase is 120. The first phase R and R1, the Y phase is Y1, the terminals of B phase is B and B1. Now the voltage across each phase we are going to consider as the phase voltage, because here there are 3 phases. The voltage across each phase we are going to consider as the phase voltage, and this phase voltage is going to be considered as VRN. Similarly, the current through each phase, each winding or each phase is going to be considered as I1 in case of this RY. In case of Y phase we are going to consider as I2, and in case of B phase the current through the winding we are going to consider it as I3. This VRN, VYN and VBN, these 3 are the phase voltages, and similarly I1, I2 and I3 are the phase currents. Phase voltages or phase currents means the voltage that is going to be appear across the individual winding, or the current that is flowing through the individual winding. So that type of quantities are called as phase quantities. And this N is nothing but the joining common point, which is called as the neutral point. That's why instead of VRR1 we are going to consider as VRN. Rn is the voltage measured between R terminal and neutral point, because this neutral point is common for all the 3 windings. That's why instead of R1 I have placed N. That's here also the Y phase is going to be counted between Y terminal and N terminal, because R1 and Y1 and B1 all these 3 are joined together, and this common point we are going to call it as N. Here also the phase voltage is represented between one phase and one neutral. That's why we are going to call these quantities as phase voltages and phase currents respectively. Now each phase, this R phase, Y phase and B phase, these phases are going to be connected to the load by means of wires. Those wires are called as lines. So now from this one phase we are going to give supply to the load. So this is the source. The source is going to, the 3-phase source is going to be represented by using 3 windings like this. So this is how internally in generator the 3 windings are going to be connected. Okay. So this is a generator, or we are going to call it as a source, 3-phase source. Now from this 3-phase source we are going to connect the load. Load means the equipment which we are going to give the supply. How we are going to give the supply to the load? By means of wires. These wires are called as lines. So here this line is called line, R line. And what is the current flowing through this line? IR. This IR is called as line current. What is I1? I1 is the phase current. What is IR? Line current, and it is flowing through R line. Now considering Y, this IY is called the line current in Y phase. And in case of B line, this IB is called the line current in B phase. Okay. Now coming to the voltages. How we are going to measure the voltages here between the lines? So if you consider the voltage between R line and Y line, or R phase and Y phase, between two phases, then that voltage is called as the line voltage. So when you measure the voltage between two phases, that voltage is called line voltage. When you measure the voltage between one phase and neutral, that is called as phase voltage. Please remember that. The voltage between one phase and neutral is called phase voltage. The voltage between two phases is called as line voltage. The current flowing in individual phase is called phase current. The current flowing through each line is called as line current. Okay. Now what is the voltage between Y and B? That is called as VYB. This VYB is called as line voltage because it is measured between two phases. And finally the voltage between R and B phase, or B and R phase, is called as VBR. So why I represented VBR? Because the phase sequence is RYB. So first I will measure the voltage between two phases, R and Y. Next Y and B. After B again R will come. That is how the phase sequence is going to repeat. So we are going to represent as VBR. VBR is also called as the line voltage because it is connected between two phases. Okay. So now how many conductors are there? The number of conductors are reduced, and there is a neutral point or star point. So the total conductors are reduced from 6 to 4 here, and we are going to have a neutral or star point. As I told you, what are the phase voltages here? The phase voltages are nothing but VRN, VYN and VBN. These are the phase voltages. The voltage measured between one phase and neutral point. And what are the phase currents? I1, I2 and I3. The currents flowing through individual phases are called as phase currents. What are the line voltages? Line voltages are the voltages that are measured between two phases. So what are the line voltages here? VRY, VYB and VBR. So those three are called as the line voltages. And what are the line currents? The line currents are the currents flowing through individual phases, individual lines which are connecting to the load. This IR, IY and IB are called as the line currents in case of star connected system. This is how you are going to represent a source, three-phase voltage source in case of a star connected system. I think now you are clear about the phase quantities and line quantities. Okay, let's move on to the delta connection, second one. In case of a delta connected system always have three wires. There is no neutral point here or common point here. How we are going to join the wires here? We are having three windings like this. First one is the R phase winding, RR1. Second one is the Y phase winding, which we are going to represent as YY1. Third phase is going to be represented by B and B1. Now how will you combine the wires? How will you connect the wires? Here, in case of star connected system, we have joined either the starting points or the finishing points. But to obtain the delta connected system, we have to connect the ending point of the one phase with respect to the starting point of the another phase, like this. The ending point of the R phase is R1, that should be connected to the starting point of Y phase. Now the ending point of Y phase is Y1, it has to be connected to the starting point of the next phase, B, like this. Now this B1 is going to be connected to the starting point of the R phase, like this. This is called as the delta connected system. So here it's formed a closed system. Now how we are going to connect the load? You can take the terminals from here. You can take from R, Y, B. These three terminals can be connected to load, or you can also connect this R1, Y1 and B1 to the load. Any one of these connections can be taken to the load. So this is how a delta connection is going to be formed. So in a delta connected system, the finishing point of one phase is being joined to the starting point of another phase. So the finishing point of one phase being joined to the starting point of another phase. So if you consider the three phases here, as I told you in the last slide, the starting points are going to be considered as RYB, and the finishing points are R1, Y1, B1. This ending point of R1 is going to be connected to the starting point of Y phase, and the ending point of Y1 is connected to the starting point of B phase, and the ending point of B phase is connected to the starting point of R phase. Now how will you provide supply to the load? By taking the connections from either starting points or ending points. Here I have considered the starting points. From the starting points, we have considered the three terminals here. From these three terminals, we connected a load. So these are the IR, IY, IB are the line quantities, and this VRN, VYN, VBN are the phase quantities. Now let us represent this connection more technically by indicating the phase difference between each phase as 120 degrees. In case of delta connection, there is no common point. Please keep that in mind. There is no common point here because these are all connected in cascade. Starting point of one phase is connected to ending point of another phase. So there is no common point in case of delta connected system. So in delta connected system, we are going to consider R phase like this, Y phase like this, and B phase like this. And if you see here, R1 is connected to Y, Y1 is connected to B, and B1 is connected to R. That's how the delta connected system is going to be called. Because of its shape, we are going to call it as a delta connected system. You can consider the phase VRN. What is VRN? VRN is nothing but phase voltage because it is the voltage across individual phase, the R phase. And what is the current through R phase? I1. So this VRN is the phase voltage and I1 is the phase current. Coming to the Y phase, the voltage across Y phase is VYN, which is called as phase voltage, and the current through the Y phase is I2, which is called as phase current. And similarly in case of B phase, VBN is the phase voltage and I3 is the phase current. This is how a three-phase voltage source is going to be connected in delta connected system. This is the source. So in case of a generator, inside the generator, this is the winding connection in case of delta connected system. Now how will you connect load to this source? So you can consider here R terminal. From R terminal I have connected to R phase, R line, from Y, Y line, from B, B line. Now the voltage across these two phases is called as VRY, here VYB and VBR. Now in this case, what are the phase voltages, line voltages, phase currents and line currents? Same. The phase voltages are VRN, VYN, VBN. These are the phase voltages because the voltages are going to be measured across individual phase. And what are the phase currents? I1, I3, I2, because these are the currents flowing through each phase individually. So the phase currents are I1, I2, I3. And what are the line voltages? The voltage which measured between two phases. So VRY, VYB and VBR. So these are the line voltages. And line currents are the currents flowing through each line which connected to the load. So IR, IY and IB are the line currents. So this is how you are going to represent the phase voltages and phase currents as well as line voltages and line currents in case of a delta connected system. The terminology or the terms used are same. So for phase voltages, we are going to use the letters VRN, VYN, VBN, and phase currents I1, I2, I3 both in delta and star connected system. Similarly, the symbols used for representing the line voltages and line currents are same in case of both star and delta connected system. But the relation between individual quantities, that means the relation between phase voltages and line voltages or phase currents and line currents are different in star and delta connected system. Okay. So by means of their connection, the relation between these quantities are going to be changed. So this is all about the three-phase winding and the connections, how we are going to connect the three windings in star and delta, and introduction about the three-phase supply. Thank you very much.